Hey, hello everybody. It's Whispinator, and I'm here today to talk to you guys a little bit about Season 2 Vanguard. It's dropped and all the new stuff is out. A couple of new guns, a lot of new changes that they dropped in Season 2. And we're going to skip all over that. Everybody else has probably already covered that. But what I want to cover is what is the long-range meta for Season 2. So I'm going to start this video off by showing a quick comparison and a couple of different weapons that in my opinion are the long-range meta right now, because of a few different things that I'll talk about. Obviously we all know that the Bryn got a little bit of adjustment, not a lot, but it's been meta for a while now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to compare two guns to the Bryn, and we're going to pull up the data right now. Alright, so here we go. We've got three guns right here. This is from True Game Data. Shout out to him. Tony works super hard, and he just puts in a lot of work for the community. Go support him anywhere you can. Watch his videos on YouTube, or just go to his page. And hey, become a premium member if you want to. Whatever you want to do. But the guy's got a lot of data, and he gives us a lot to the community. Just a quick shout out. Anyways, looking at his data. Now, obviously, this isn't up to date, but the only minor changes were to the Bryn were lower. Upper arm, lower arm modifiers, and they were like 1.1 down to 1, so it's not a huge difference. So none of that is going to change much what I'm talking about today. So if you see right here in front of us, we have stomach shots. That's where we're going to start, and this is kind of what I want to talk about in this video, is that for everyday players, for casual players, most likely your shots, you're not starting headshots. That's not where you're going to start your first shot at. For all of us that play on a casual basis, that aren't super sweat demons, that aren't pros and things like that, most of our shots are going to start center of mass. So that's where I'm going to start right here with stomach shots. And here on stomach shots, you can see that the AK is the best out of all three of these guns. And it looks like you're probably confused, why the heck do I have the XM4 even on this list? Because it is so much slower than the Bryn and the AK. Well, we'll get to that in a second, and I'm going to prove you why these two Cold War guns are actually the meta right now. If you can control the recoil on them, they are the meta. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But right now, I just want to look at these. This is where your shots are going to start. So stomach shots. You're going to start hitting these stomach shots. And what do almost every single gun recoil in Call of Duty do? They go up, right? They start up, and they either go right, they go left, some do a little zigzag in the middle, some go up and stop, but anyways, all of them are going to go up. So you're going stomach right here where AK is king, and it's right there with the Bryn up to that's probably about 38 meters, and then the Bryn holds the range a little bit longer, and then it drops off, and the AK is a little bit better than it after that. So they're pretty comfortable, right? That's what I would say. You got this one little window between 38 and 45 meters where they kind of flip-flop back and forth, but I would say these two guns are very, very comfortable, whereas the XM4 is way up here. All right, so you're going to start there. Recoil's going to go up, right? So you're going from stomach to what? To chest, right? All right, here we go. Chest, almost identical with these three guns. So chest and stomach are pretty much the same for these two ranges. Now, after your chest shots, so you start stomach. Sometimes you start stomach, sometimes you start chest. Doesn't matter for these three guns. Wherever you start on the body, it's basically going to be the exact same TTK for all three of these weapons. All right, so here's where it gets interesting, and here's where this little outlier, this little XM4 outlier, is going to shine right here. So we're going to go from stomach, chest, we're going to hit this neck. And if you see this neck multiplier on the XM4, it is by far as much better than those two guns as they are better than it for stomach, chest. And that is because the XM4 has a ridiculous neck multiplier, where the Cold War AK-47 and the Bryn do not. And here's where you show it's sub 45, almost down to a 40 TTK, and it stays below a 0.45 all the way up to about 34 meters, and then it stays sub, what was that, 53 right there, all the way past you know, you're holding range up to probably 60 meters under 0.55, which is ridiculous. That's a super pest. That's SMG TTKs right there. But again, these are just going to be mixed in, right? So you're going to hit stomach, chest, and then you're going to hit these necks first. So this is why, if you guys, some of you have used the XM4, why it feels so good to you, because you're getting that headshot multiplier on the neck with the XM4, so you're getting that fast TTK kick in a lot faster, or a couple of shots faster than you would if you're going for headshots with these other two guns, the Cold War AK and the Bren, which, and in this example you can see how the Bren is actually holding range better than the AK on these neck shots too. Another reason why Bren is by hands far has been meta up to this point. But this is what I want to explain right here, is how this XM4, you get these neck shots a lot faster than you would a headshot. And that few little milliseconds between going from neck to head and this huge multiplier you're going to get on that first shot with this XM4 is going to lower your TTK an immense amount. It's going to drop it by a significant amount to win you a gunfight or get that down before they get behind cover or something like that. So that's why this gun is going to feel really, really good to you as compared to some other guns. Now here we have standard headshots. And as you can see, the AK actually pulls ahead by a little bit, not a ton. Obviously, these all three are very comparable. Actually, the XM4 and the AK at range are basically the same. They are the same. And this is why, again, the XM4 is going to feel so much better to you than any of these other three guns, is because not only did you get that neck multiplier, but then you hold that headshot multiplier as your recoil goes up. Now, obviously, this is a case by case. Sometimes you'll start an arm, sometimes you get a leg shot, and all these other things mixed in to get a total TTK. But this is trying to just kind of explain where majority of your shots are going to start either chest, stomach, and work its way up to neck, head, because that's just the natural recoil plot of pretty much all the guns that we use. And us not being sweaty demons that can hit headshots and hold recoil and make the gun absolutely not move, hold it on the target no matter what, those type of things. These guns are going to feel better to you, whereas you see these other guys using your top tier streamers and your top tier content creators and your top tier competitors using all of these other guns, and they look amazing with them. They're using the Modern Warfare Growl, or they're using the any of these other guns that are coming out and things like that, and they're like, oh, this is a demon, a sweat gun, drop 40 bomb with this gun right here, and then you go to try to use this gun and you're like, what the heck, man, I can't even get a single kill, what is going on? Well, this is why, for me, these are more practical guns for you, for the casual player, for the everyday player, for the people that you go to work or you go to school or something like that, you get home and you play. You don't have 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day to commit to this game to get recoil patterns and practice your aims on aim lab and things like that. So these right here to me are the more practical long range guns, because especially at range. So to me it's more heightened at range than it is close range, because at range, where you're aiming at, you're aiming at the biggest target possible, right? And that is the center of mass. That's the torso. That is upper and lower, chest, stomach, and that is going to, obviously, like I was saying, you're going to start there, recoil up, neck, head. And that is why, to me, out of these three guns, the XM4 is going to be the fastest TTK gun for you. It's going to kill the fastest out of all these three guns. Now, there is a caveat in all these, in that, what I'm saying. The caveat is the XM4 has the most recoil out of all three of these guns. Now, it's manageable, even for someone who's not a super sweat. It goes straight up and to the right, but it's a hard pull. But the fire rate of the XM4 is so fast, it's going to make up for that. It's a lot faster than the AK. So that, if you miss a couple of shots here and there because of that recoil pull, you're going to be okay. You're going to recover a little faster because, the fire rate, those bullets are coming out so fast, one behind the other, that your shots to kill is going to be all right because you're still hitting enough shots in that same amount of time. Whereas with the Cold War AK, it's got a slow rate of fire, even though it hits like a truck, chest, stomach, neck, head. So if the XM4 feels a little too much recoil to you, To me, I would suggest the AK. Now, it does have some recoil. It's a lot more manageable to me than the XM4. It's a slower pull. It's not that hard jerk up like the XM4. It's a slower pull up, so it's easier to manage than the XM4. And that stomach chest TTK is way higher than the XM4. So you're going to start off breaking that player maybe faster in some cases than the XM4, but when you hit that neck, you don't get that neck multiplier like you do with the XM4, but then you work your way up the head, and your overall TTK is going to be very, very, very comparable to the XM4, because you have that extra bonus of stomach chest shots that you're getting those extra damages on before you get to those high multipliers with head neck as you pull up with your recoil trying to get that head. And that's basically my breakdown. I will shoot over to the game real quick. Let me show you a couple of builds, in my opinion. So this is the AK. To me, this is the best long-range AK build. So we start off with the groove suppressor, obviously, effective damage range, bullet velocity, vertical recoil control, and sound suppression. And Spetsnaz grip, it's going to give you your most horizontal and vertical. Now, horizontal is very important on this gun just because the AKs tend to bounce back and forth, and all of these attachments that I have on it pull that horizontal down and make it a lot less bouncy, a lot more vertical, and then a lot more manageable on the recoil. I run the 60-round Bakelite. The ADS running the fast mags is just too slow for me, and the 45s, because I play a lot of squads, aren't going to do it. Now, if you don't play a lot of squads, then hey, you'll get a faster ADS if you put those 45-round mags on. You don't have that ADS hit. But the 60-round mags to me are the best bet, because if you're missing shots long range, the more bullets you got in your clip before you have to reload, the better. Alright, and then I got obviously the axial arms just for long range. Alright, for my, let's switch over to the XM4. XM4 build, Task Force. Why Task Force and not Ranger? A lot of people say Ranger. It's got the most bullet velocity on it. Well, for casual players, Task Force is your best bet. Why? Because you got horizontal recoil control, vertical recoil control, and bullet velocity and damage range. Now, it doesn't have as much bullet velocity as the Ranger. No, it doesn't. But it does have more damage range added to it, and it does have it does have that added, horizontal recoil control, whereas the Ranger does not. And then obviously the takedown, all the other ones don't have as many benefits. So Task Force, Agency, and that's a given. Agency gives you damage range, velocity, recoil control. And then Field Agent, again, looking for that horizontal vertical recoil control, maxing that out because this gun kicks like a mule. I mean, it goes up fast, so you got to be prepared for it. And then this one I run fast max because it doesn't really affect your ADS as bad as the fast mags would on the other one, and it's a little easier. The XM4 overall is a faster ADS, so you're not going to feel it's not going to feel sluggish to you. All right, and then switching over now. This is a little controversial, my brand build, and this is something I changed for Season 2. I've got a lot of different things, because Season 2, as you guys know, they added bullet velocity to the barrels and the muzzles. So this MX silencer now doesn't just do recoil control, which it also has a +10 bullet velocity, which isn't listed yet. That must be a bug or something, but that's something they did to the Mercury and the MX. Now I'm running MX because you get horizontal, vertical. The Mercury, you just get horizontal, and it pulls your damage range down, which let's not use that downside where we can have both vertical and horizontal and sound suppression and bullet velocity. Now, this Queen 775, the new added thing is this adds, I believe, 45% bullet velocity, whereas the Queen 705 Royal only adds about 40%. So you're getting more bullet velocity out of the 775. You're also getting more recoil control out of this Queen Scepter. I believe it's about 5 or 10% more between the two barrels, and that's important because on this build we're not running those 40-round mag Sakura rounds. We are going to run the 303 British, so you're not getting all of these downsides of you're losing bullet velocity, losing bullet penetration, losing damage. With this, the only thing you're looking at is reload and aim down sight speed. So it's going to make it feel a little slower, but it's going to hit like an absolute truck. like you're used to the Bren hitting, like it's been hitting for you. It's going to feel a lot more like the meta build was before they started to nerf it a little bit. So that's why I have these set. Now again, lengthened, that's obvious. I actually switched to this padded, looking at true game data and a couple other things. You know, I know the Hawkins stock, everybody is telling it's meta right now, but this padded has a little more horizontal recoil control, and that horizontal bounce is the biggest thing about the Bren. So the more horizontal recoil you can adjust, the better. So that's why I switched to the padded. Same thing with this Groove Grip. So this Groove Grip actually gives you more horizontal recoil control than the Polymer. Now Polymer has added vertical recoil control, but the benefit of that extra horizontal is better to me because vertical is easier to manage than horizontal. Horizontal, there's not a whole lot you can do about with its bouncing back and forth. Now vertical, you can just pull down and that's easy to handle. So that's why I go with this Groove Grip. It's got more horizontal recoil control, and it also has movement speed, ADS firing movement speed, and a couple other benefits that the Polymer doesn't. So it makes it a little faster, a little snappier, to make up for using that bigger barrel. And then obviously tight grip, whatever optic you want, and you know, whatever's perk 2. I fully loaded is probably about the only one, unless you're leveling up and that surplus, that extra kill XP, which most people have this built out. But anyways, yeah, that's my 3 builds for these 3 guns. My Bren is a little unconventional in today's meta, but season 2, I think things have changed. And this gun right here is going to feel a lot better to you built like this. Now, the Bren has the least recoil of all of these, and it is a good, just overall workhorse. So if you're not good at recoil control, go with the Bren, go with this build. Trust me, it's going to hit like a truck. It's going to feel really good. The recoil is going to be just on point, almost no recoil at all. Now, if you can control a little bit of recoil, I would say Cold War AK is your next best bet because you're going to get those added benefits that we talked about. And then third, if you are a mid-tier expert at recoil control, XM4 is going to give you the most benefit, the most bang for your buck, because you're going to get those neck multipliers, and it's going to feel like it's killing. It's just absolutely deleting. All right, thanks. We're going to get into some gameplay right here and show you a little bit of these guns in action. Now I'm going to show you Cold War AK and XM4 action, because obviously you guys have seen plenty of Bren action over the season 1 with this just deleting people. You've probably used it, deleted people with it. It's super good. Not going to bore you with that. I'm just going to show you a few short little clips of the XM4 and AK-47 in action.
Head down.
Like I said, if you like the footage and you like the knowledge that I share with you guys, be sure to hit a like and subscribe on the page. Also, like this video if you don't mind. Again, it's your boy Whispinator, and until next time, peace.